Hello, my name is Dr. Michelle Maidenberg, and today I'm gonna talk about our emotions, and I will end off with giving you some grounding exercises. The reason why I'm choosing to talk about emotions is I've been really thinking about, the patients that I've been seeing, and then also just my own experiences about having, these varied emotions that are coming up, and being left sometimes with some like guilt, or shame over these emotions, particularly because of, what's going on in the world today. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So I know just even the other day, I was talking to somebody and heard of a horrific story of a woman who had the coronavirus and was having symptoms, was symptomatic, and both of her parents died from the coronavirus. And obviously, because she was symptomatic, she was unable to bury them. And then also, she was sequestered from her own family, from her husband and children because of being symptomatic. So you can only imagine just hearing that and thinking about what this person must be experiencing was just so overwhelming. And then I found a little later on, I was thinking about, something that was going on for me, thinking about, being concerned about something. And then I found myself then saying to myself, why am I thinking that way? Like, people are dying in the world. Like, listen to that horrible story that you heard. Why are you thinking about yourself, or why are you thinking about such inconsequential things, And I've been hearing a lot of people say that. Another example is I had a college student who I've been seeing, and she was, feeling quite depressed, and she had like these very like anxiety provoking thoughts like, this will never end, and I'll never get to see my friends again, and I'll never be happy. I won't be able to get through my classes. And then this is different than the past. Even though I've gotten through difficult times in the past, this is going to be different. And then when we're talking about it and really reading out like her thoughts, and that they're just thoughts, they're not facts, and why is it being evoked, and what meaning does it hold for her, and how is it, kind of impacting the way she's behaving. And then again, like the flooding of thoughts of like, what's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. I'm mean. I'm selfish, because I'm thinking about myself, and people are suffering, and this is so ridiculous, So I just wanted to say that it's all relative. We're all having our own experience with this. And we can't control our thoughts or feelings, just the actions we take, and that there is space for every feeling that comes up. So you can, on the one hand, have compassion for yourself, for your experience, and also have compassion for others and all of their experiences and all of the catastrophes that are happening outside of ourselves, in the world, or to ourselves for that matter. And, just to prove to you that we can't control our thoughts and feelings, right? And we're led to believe differently. So even when we're young, like we may hear, like, get that thought out of your mind, or stop being so negative. And you know what our mind does when it's told to get the thought out of your mind? It actually, it's the purpose of the thought is to create safety and to be hypervigilant, and also, right, to assuage us from any discomfort we're having. So our mind gets rebellious, and it says, oh, you think that you're gonna get that thought out of your mind? Well, I'll show you. And it ups the ante, and it actually becomes even more intense, right? Because we have this battle, like trying to get this thought out of our mind, and then it just comes back and more intensified. So the magic is really to just be with it in the moment, and I could just prove that to you. But if I said to you, no matter what, right, by the end of our conversation, like, you need to get the number 3 out of your mind. I want you to like completely eliminate the number 3. Don't think about it. Get it out of your mind, right? And never think about it again. And what does your mind automatically do? Is it remembers the number 3 in order to forget the number 3. But then that causes it to remember it And that's exactly what our mind does. So, as much as we'd like to forget something, it doesn't exactly work that way, as hard as we try. And the harder we try, the more intense it is. So, I wrote a blog some time ago called Please Stop Preaching Happiness, Gratitude, and Positive Affirmations. It's on my website, on my blog, which is michellemaidenberg.com. So it really talks about how we're always taught to be happy, we're always taught to have gratitude, we're always, taught to have these positive affirmations, and sometimes that actually backfires and makes us feel kind of poorly about ourselves. So, because we think about like, what is our thoughts? Are we our thoughts and our feelings? And what does it signify? What does that say about us? So if we have a mean thought, does that mean we're a mean person? We kind of, really, really grapple with that. So what I'm suggesting is just kind of being with whatever shows up, having room for both, right? And not necessarily kind of grappling with it, but just sitting with it and experiencing it and being curious about it. And also to use, which I'm going to show you some grounding exercises when those thoughts do come up so that you could actually have some perspective and also kind of get in your body and get back to the present moment. So the first thing is, it's always really good to get into your senses because it allows us, again, to be with our body. And the one thing that never leaves the present moment is our body. Our mind is always in the future and the past, right? The future is anxiety and anxious based, and kind of the past is regret, right? We are rarely in the present moment. So that's where we kind of need to be, and that's all we know. So using our senses grounds us in our body, and our body cannot leave the present moment, right? Our body can't walk away from us. It needs us. So it is here. It is always here. That's why we're always like going back to our breath, for example. So one thing you could do is just tap into your senses and ask yourself, what are 3 things that I see? What are 3 things that I hear? What are 3 things that I touch? And again, that allows you to get back into your intellectual mind rather than, going straight to the feeling center, like I spoke about before. You could also use essential oils. They have these in the pharmacy or a lot of stores. I like the rollerball ones because you could use them and, put it on your wrist or, anywhere. The nice thing about it is you could find a scent that you actually like and that, again, evokes pleasant, and positive emotions. And the other thing too is whenever you're feeling that way, you have access to it because you could just kind of reach over and smell it, which is nice. You could put it in your purse, etc. And if you don't have essential oils, you could use, cologne or perfume. Or you could kind of come up with a concoction that you can make yourself. So you could definitely use essential oils. That's really nice to use. The other thing is using a rubber band. So you could stretch it, right? And that reminds you, right, that you're in your body and your hand. You could also put it around your wrist. And when you need to kind of awaken, I'm going to say, you could always just kind of press it to remind yourself to awaken out of being like kind of outside of your mind, right? Maybe being in the future or the past. Okay. And there's something called the butterfly. So if you put your hands like a butterfly, and we're going to do kind of bilateral stimulation, which is based on the EMDR work that I do, which is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And if you just, again, you could kind of close your eyes or leave them open, but just tapping one at a time. And it feels very, very comforting, actually, if you do one at a time. And if this doesn't work, let's say you're working or at school or somewhere else, right, in the future, or at home, you could do it on your knees. You could also do it on your feet and tap your feet, right? And you're going to feel your feet strongly planted in the ground. There's also something called the finger tapping. So I know when I'm feeling a little kind of, I would say, kind of, again, outside of not being centered, the thing that I say to myself is a mantra, which is, I am okay, right? So you could do the finger tapping, I am okay. I am okay. And you could use whatever mantra speaks to you and really grounds you. And when I say I am okay, what I think about is the sky, because the sky, all different things come out of it, rain and sleet and snow and hail and lightning. but the sky is always intact. Like, we never sit here and think, oh my goodness, is the sky okay? Is it going to be okay? We know that the sky will always be okay, no matter what comes out of it. Like, we'll always go through adversity in our life, just like having the coronavirus, the threat of the coronavirus, right? Or, experiencing some adversity in our life, right? That those are kind of the things that are coming out of us, out of our life, right? But on the surface, and who we are in our body and who we are in our person, we are okay. So, try to find something that really speaks to you. It could be a saying, it could be a word, it could be a sound even. So if you found this helpful, if you could please share it with others. I've been told that it's been helpful. So the reason I'm doing this, it's been quite therapeutic for me as well. Finding my meaning and purpose and tapping into that has been really grounding and helpful. And I know other people who are doing things as well, whether it's reading a book that's meaningful, or spending time with your family, whatever it is, to try to really tap into that. And it's going to be different for each of us. So, to really also, really think of how you want to contribute, or how you want to be, or what's meaningful to you. Okay. I wish you and your families, again, health and safety. And I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.